I, for one, is against any form of privatization, especially of public, social and public goods and services. Yeah, and that is simply because these are meant to meet community needs. And I'm here today simply because, not just because SIP is going to increase or decrease our revenues. For me, my concern is really about good governance. Yeah, and we have been talking about this many events on good governance and how we are going to monitor and ensure that everyone that we elect actually follow the good governance. Yeah, and it's about the rule of law, transparency and accountability. And if you look at the issue itself, yeah, SIP as it is, we are actually talking about where is this source of power for who actually decide on the implementation of SIP. Yeah? So if you look at the Road Transport Act, it actually, the power, the punca kuasa lies with the council. Yeah? So where does the state government comes in? Does the state government give the order and the council accept, or does the council not have the duty-bound responsibility to actually take on and decide on what is best, especially in this issue, what is the best parking system and payment and installment that needs to be done in the various councils. So if you look at, I just want to quote one case, yeah, particularly on the punca kuasa of the state government. In the case of Dato' Muhammad Yusuf and Lim Ching In versus DBKL, it was actually ruled that DBKL actually was in a breach of the principle of listen to the other side. Okay, and I think that Dato' Banda was found to be biased, and he should be acting actually on the side of the people. So my question here is, MBI, who are you acting for when you actually recommend SIP? Yeah? Who are you listening to? And secondly is that it is, when we talk about the SIP, yeah, the manner in So the manner in which SIP was introduced is really dishonest and lacks truth. And it seems to be thrust onto the council, because if you look at the sequence in which the story are being told to us, first it was actually going to be private enterprise running it. Yeah? And the private enterprise and the private enterprise, particularly Cellmax and ITMax, yeah, were actually supposed to take over this SIP. Then after that, then it shifted to a tripartite collaboration of the council, MBI, and private company known as Rantaian Mesra. Then after that, it shifted. Recently, the mayor of Shah Alam actually says that, no, we agree. Yeah, and he is speaking on behalf of the first phase, the 5 councils. We agree to actually implement SIP, and that it would actually increase our revenue, and the collaboration will be the councils, MBI, and a few private companies. He did not name who. For me, this kind of information given in drips and drabs does not actually help in terms of the issue of transparency. And the other question is really, oh my God. And the other question is really, if Shah Alam is actually saying that they are earning, yeah, a total of 30.8 million, yeah, of which 8.9 million from compound and 21.9 million from parking revenue. So what is the deal with SIP? It should be Shah Alam getting 30.8 million plus, and nothing less than that. Yeah. So what deal it is? We do not have that kind of information. And does Shah Alam mayor speaks for all councils? Seriously. Thirdly is that what is the real problem fundamentally when we introduce a system like SIP? What is the problem? We don't know. You read, you scan through, you Google, there's no explanation as to what is wrong with the existing system to actually warrant for SIP. And if there is no need to fix, what are we fixing? What are we fixing really? And fourthly is that the humanities side, if you bring in SIP when it was told to us that it will have CCTV, it will take care of all the infrastructure, it will also take care of the maintenance and running of the parking, so no worries about fines and all that. Then what happens to our enforcement officers who have been doing their duties? Are they going to be moved to other units or are they going to be retrenched? So in place of this SIP. So I think that these are the crucial questions that we have to ask our council as well as the state government, MPI as well. What is the real story? We really need accountability when development touches public money. And that is our money. Whether you spend it or you want to increase it, we need to know. And the other one is that the punca kuasa must remain with the councils. And they have that duty-bound responsibility to us as people of the residents. And for me is that there's no need for SIP. Cancel it. And to try and improve the existing system. And to me, what is important is that we want to have a much more sustainable transport system. Why not have more buses, more public transport, so that the 200 million that is going to be spent can do that and can even do more. So for me, is that improve the existing system. And let us not mortgage the future of our city for short-term gains. Thank you.
I think today, when you see former MP and current MP standing together, that means something seriously wrong that's happening. So at the same time, as Mara has mentioned, she argued for transparency, accountability, and openness. I think which I have really no issue with that. I think we really need to push for more transparency on the whole deal. But underlying it, in my observation, the whole program or the whole system comes in to replace the existing system that is functioning well. So this is a big question mark when I first heard about this project. Right? We all have been paying car parks, we all have been using our gadgets, and some apps or APP are actually a product of the state government in the past. So we use them and we familiarize with them and it's functioning quite well. So if there's no problem, why suddenly there is a rush to fix it? And there has been no public complaint as far as I'm concerned about the parking system. And even if any improvement was needed, as Maria has said, local councils could implement their own solutions, and we should make local governments accountable on how can they improve first before resort to other means. I'm also not a fan of privatization, but I do understand that some countries use privatization as a tool to have more effective governance, and some don't, while still becoming quite effective in governing the cities. But at the same time, the whole deal and the process of privatization, that is, to me, the more important things that we should look into. Of course, on the jurisdictional overreach is also a problem, where all responsibilities currently fall under the local government, according to Section 72 of the Road Transport Act. So even by putting everything to a company called SIP, right? It's the local government that is eventually responsible on the parking matters. And by this logic, the state could actually privatize all PBT functions, right? And take a cut of the revenue. So why don't we outsource the functions of PBT to another company or to another government so that they can run it more effectively, and then the state government can collect a grant. So this is by... You offer that. No, by having that logic is is very dangerous because we fail to access the legal authority of the jurisdiction of it. Third, to me again is important. I mean, I need to go to the revenue part of it. I think that is not the first priority, but the revenue sharing is ridiculous. While I thank PJ residents for having so much of concern because as the scheme has announced, it wouldn't add to the burden, at least for now, to all of you, but yet, just like, I mean, all of us here, we are very concerned about the coffer, the money that goes to the public coffer and how it's used effectively, transparently to improve the quality of life of our citizens in PJ. So in this case, 50% of the revenue is not profit, it's the revenue. They call it revenue, we call it collection. I mean, I think in local council terms, we don't use P&L, but it's a collection. 50% will go to a company. Another 10% will go to another company that is state-linked, GLC, called MBI. So altogether, we are talking about 60% of the collection will be gone. Will be gone from MBPJ coffer. That is amounted to how much? I did a rough calculation, about 10 million ringgit a year, ladies and gentlemen. And that is huge sum of money given so much of improvements are needed in PJ, right? We are talking about our trees, potholes, longkang, and so many other issues remain unresolved. And just by the aim of increasing the parking rates so that we can collect more, 10 million's gone. And by doing this, right, why should the state or MBI take even 1 cent from existing MBPJ collection? So this is a serious question to me that I would like to throw to the decision maker. Last but not least is the well-being of community. That is, to me, the eventual objective of governance, and it's not profit maximization. State government's objective to prioritize the public car parks to maximize the collection and make profits appear to me to have missed the most important objective of the exercise, which is the well-being and vibrancy of the community, and not the maximization of profits for private companies, state government corporations, and not even maximization of the profits for the local councils. That's why the whole scheme, 4 MPs, I think they are with us. 3 couldn't make it today, of course, but we all call for revision of the entire scheme and urge the state government, PBTs, and federal agencies to prioritize the broader mobility needs instead, such as the strategic allocation of parking days. Imagine if we take a profit maximization mindset, we will have more and more car parks, and even if there's a need to build bus lane, as what Maria suggested, the company will say no. Let the car park continue to be there because we need car park base to make profit. And we wouldn't have improvement because they are contradictory objectives when we have a profit maximization mindset. So solving urban mobility challenges, including the allocation of car parks and other things, requires comprehensive strategies. If it's it's a sub, it's not just sub, so looking at the whole scheme. So if it's sub, this thing to another unnamed company now, I mean, you're naming it, but I think on paper it's still not clear, that eventually the local government will lose the authority and also the planning capacity to improve our public transportation, to improve mobility, to build more walkways, to build more bicycle lanes. I think all this will give way to more parking lanes. I'm not saying that we need to remove more car parking bays without any reasons. I know that some of us, we need to have a simple drop by to buy our groceries, right? Yeah, and sometimes we don't pay because it's just 50 minutes. But with the new system, the things could be very different. If we only take a profit maximization mindset, meaning you stop, you have to pay. Yeah. But the businesses of the vibrancy of the community, businesses of the community are secondary to this. I would like to end by saying that in the past, we learned the failure of a scheme called Godel. Eventually, MBPJ, and I mean, to share all this information, it happened before 2008. Eventually, we couldn't recover about 7.2 billion from that company that aimed to privatize car parks for our PBDs. And we fought hard for the termination of that concession. And why now we are going back to the old ways? So this is my big question.
My concern is, where does this council stand in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure to improve all this? You know, of course, somebody comes up with a highway, you reject. Somebody comes up with a parking, you reject. But you still, let's say 30, let's say 14, parking is still an issue. You go to Petaling Jaya, Taipan, parking is still an issue. So, do you want to leave it to the council, or how do you do all this? So, can I have some answers from you? Thank you very much.
First, clarify that even with the new system, you will not be able to solve the car park problems, because the system aims to increase the collection. It is not aimed to alleviate congestion. It's not meant to make car park ways more available to the people. So I think that's the first point that we have to remember. The objective of the system is to increase collection from the current 30% to 60%. So that doesn't mean currently there are 70% free car parks or available car parks. It's just that the collection that is supposed to collect, we are currently at the level of 30%, which to me is, of course, a level that is very debatable. But to me, there are people that stop by for a while, they don't pay. There are people, they stay for 3 hours, they pay for 2 hours. Are all these calculated as miscollection? I'm not sure, because no one has come forward to show us the formula and how all these are calculated. The whole thing is so opaque, even to the city councillors level. I think we all caught by shock. And imagine if the system is in place before we all are ready or even have a chance to ask questions. So if, we are dealing with definitely more payment to the car park, more CCTVs at all corners. What are the cyber security measures of all these things? Where are the CCTVs will be located? And all these questions, I think, will affect our livability and sustainability of our city for sure. We are not anti-development, just to be sure, because sometimes they are labeling, let's say, we anti-everything, people in PJ. It's not true. We just want the development to be in place so that we will have a more effective mechanism or system to help to improve the governance and finally our quality of life. So this is my short answer to the gentleman. Hopefully I'll answer your question. Thank you.
The local council basically means the councillors. And we have 24 political appointed councillors. So what is their decision on this? By right, since PJ has been declared a city in 2006, we should have what do you call that? Local consultation, local agenda 21. We must have public consultation when it comes to matter that affects public interest. So, as far as I'm concerned, final decision, local council. Local council means councillors appointed by the party that governs the state. So what is their stand on this? I think we have two councillors here today. Perhaps they should actually brief us. Yeah, Chairman, thanks.
Long answer short. I don't think I can represent all city councillors, and two of them can represent the 24. But I believe, and for my information, the conversation is ongoing. And it's also unfair to say that any decisions have been made prematurely about this issue. It's still ongoing. That's why we are dealing with a living issue now. So, which is so timely that the forum is organized today. And bear in mind that all of us concerned citizens, regardless of our political background, we want the system to work for us. It's not that the system to work against us. I'm sure our city councillors, and so far, by far, PJ is the only city council that has objected the system among all 4 city councils. So it's a good example. But moving forward, I really use local agenda, local consultation, not just on parking, you see. If the CCTVs are coming, it means smart city, right? It means more eyes watching us, surveilling us, and more also IT and automation, even AI, to capture our movement. Are we ready for that? I'm sure one day we need to be ready for that, if you ask me. But how is the process How are the consultations made? All these are important. Give us more time for engagement. And engagement must not be seen as endorsement, as one-way street, one-way endorsement. More engagement are needed and feedback needed. And just today, the mayor also made his comment, which I salute as well, as I have mentioned in my earlier statements, that it's not easy for the mayor, which is appointed by the state government to make a stand. But in PJ, I think the culture, the vibes is different. I think we are working very hard towards ensuring the system is finally working and not to repeat the mistakes that we all have made 20 years ago.
Just a response to the other person and also to yourself. It's actually a question of a development. What is the kind of development that we want? But it's not just about PJ. We're talking about the whole of Selangor and probably beyond. And so far, what we are seeing from PJ, the link till now, A&W and all that, the issue is really about consultation and giving the people the information that they need so that they understand why certain development is happening and why is it that we actually do not agree with some of the development. So that kind of consultation has to happen. That's one. Two is that, like what YB Lee has actually said, is actually where is the punca kuasa? So if you empower the councils to make certain decisions, then let them make the decisions. I'm not saying that the councils are making the right decisions all the time, but that is where residents like yourself and me and everyone else has to ensure that the council engage with us. At the present moment, I think the engagement is very little and it needs to be increased, and we need to actually voice out to tell them that we have a say in the development that you are bringing to Petaling Jaya, to Damansara, to Puchong, and to many, many other places. Because we are living in the environment, so we should have a say in the environment.
What powers do the state have? That's number one, we've all been questioning. Number two, yes, the state can advise, but they cannot micromanage. Right? Now, I will give you a frightening, sorry, I'm going to divert a little bit. I'm going to give you a frightening scenario. If on August 1st, the state says 20% of all assessment will be collected by a private company, what happens then? Are you all going to keep quiet? Why are we keeping quiet about the 50% being taken away? They're capable of taking away 20% of the assessment that runs into hundreds of billions and handing over to somebody. Isn't that a frightening scenario we have got here? If they have got that kind of powers, I think we should get rid of them and remove those powers if there are. I don't think they have powers. But this is the reality. Slowly they are eyeing what is available, what can makan, what can subcontract, what can take over. So be very careful, be alert. I'm very happy you socially young faces here. It will happen during your time, not in our time. But beware, these are the things, the questions we are constantly asked, and nobody is willing to answer them. Right? They all hide behind all kinds of official learning, red tape, official secrets. But I've gone through the act. I think any decision made must be taken by a full council meeting. Period. Thank you. Let me start by saying we have been told a series of lies from the state down to the EXCO member, even down to the councils. Not all councils, some of the councils. This privatization or privatization, as I call it, has already started in June. If you recall, on June 24th there was a meeting at Jabatan Kuasa MBSJ, where there was a meeting called by MBI to discuss taking over parking operations in Subang Jaya. I didn't say it. It's on the official Facebook about the Jabatan Kuasa MBSJ. All of you can go into it and have a look at it. They had a meeting to discuss how this company called Cellmax is going to take over operations of parking. That involves issuing tickets, actually controlling whole parking with a supervisory role for the NBSJ enforcement officers. Well, are clear about this? If you don't believe me, check your phones. Go to the Facebook page of Quasa MBSJ. It is there together with 11 photographs of the CEMAX people, the MPI people. And when I confronted YB at a press conference two weeks ago, he denied pretending Bodo, speaking Bodo. We look into it, we'll check, nothing is finalized. Those were the words he told us. But let me tell you the true story. This Rantayan Misra was never in the picture until I broke the story in the first week of July. Right, all the time they said MBI company. When the story broke, they needed somebody to fix it. So they said this Rantayan Misra was one of the 26 companies that submitted proposals. They never did. If they did, then something's wrong. Rantayan is a subsidiary of MBI. There's already a conflict of interest, as I pointed out. So to con all of you all, they say it's going to a state company. Actually, it's not. They are there at 10% representing, collect 10% on behalf of MBI, and 50% will still go to Selangor to IT-Nights. So all this while they will tell us lies. The last lie that was told was they're going to install 200 million worth of CCTVs. That's 1,900 each. When we live in Wotrop, 110,000 each. I don't know, the most expensive and must be diamond standard if I'm not mistaken. But the question is this. When I asked the question, how are you going to do away with parking? No, what is it was intelligent enforcement? I said, so you have stopped issuing parking tickets. You see, that's something like that. But even in London, the most violent city, you still have parking attendants going around issuing tickets. So this whole, I call it hot tenure, that was produced by the YB was beyond belief. I'm sorry to say this, but we have been told a pack of lies from day one. And we have to call these lies. Because if we don't call these lies right now and stop this, 20% of the assessment is going away. Let me not frighten you. It's possible it's going to happen. So I'll stop there. I got all the information here and here. I'll take more questions on this. Thank you very much.
Begin with showing my appreciation for all of you who took time to come here to try to understand the issue that we're supposed to understand, and after that we want to say no to it. Okay. I remember privatization was started by the lady called Margaret Thatcher in England. And I remember faintly that the main idea is to make those public services that are not effective or rather not efficient, so that through privatization it becomes profitable, becomes sufficient, efficient, and also effective. So, but in our case, I used to whack this guy called Mahathir for privatization. That word was not invented by me, it was invented by my former big boss, Lim Kee Siang. He called it privatization. Simply because under Mahathir at the time, he tends to privatize those agencies that are already making money, already considered effective and efficient. Those that are not effective or efficient supposed to be privatized but didn't. So that's why we call it privatization. But in this case, I'm not sure this is privatization or privatization, but I give you some figures. Guess who will pay for the 200 million worth of CCTV? Who's going to pay? You know what? You don't even have to tell me. I think you know, because you are in PJ. You know. Somebody will pay for the 200 million. Next question, do we need to pay the 200 million for the CCTV? Do you need a CCTV for a better so-called parking system? The parking is called what? Smart, intelligent parking. I think the person who thought of it is very smart and also very intelligent. Because somebody got to pay for the 200 million. And then there will be ways to make money out of the 200 million. if YBD was correct, 110,000 each, I don't think there's any such expensive CCTV before. Because during my time, when I was the chief of the local government from 2008 to 2013, when I was the chief of the local government, we faced the same issue of CCTV. Because of the cost of the CCTV, we knocked out that project was already given to a company and then re-tender. So in our case, I personally believe that we don't need to spend 200 million to buy the CCTV to improve the system. And many speakers earlier have already told you, we don't seem to have a serious problem with our current parking system. Okay, go back to CAT. The Selangor government supposed to form in 2008 for the first time. And that time our slogan was CAT, cat. Cat. So, but in this case, there's no cat. The cat has gone to the dogs. There's no accountability, no transparency, no capability and whatever. So, and this is wrong. So this government, Selangor government, taken over from us. They're supposed to continue with the cat. Am I right? Not supposed to be doggy and all that. But but in this case, it's anti. Yesterday we had the anti or anti-rally. To me, this SIP is anti-cat. It's also anti the concept of privatization. It's also anti the local agenda 21. We're supposed to have all the local councils in Malaysia, including Selangor, they're all supposed to follow the principles of local agenda 21. And we use that very often. I see some of the faces of the former councillors here, Michael Soon, Chan and all that. They all know. They all know what is the local agenda 21. This SIP also anti that, They don't follow. I want to say it again, many have already said it. The state has no power over parking business, period. As a former chief of local council government, we can only do our duty through advisory works. We cannot control them. A local government is a government run by the local councils. The state government run by the state council. The parliament run by, the federal government run by the parliament and the prime minister and the cabinet. They are different governments. So these rights for this local government, they got it from an act called Road Transport Act. They got the power from there. The state got no such power there. So in this case, we must give a big hands to MBPJ for saying no, we have to appreciate that, because not easy when you are under them to say no to somebody more senior than you. But I'm telling you, this is the spirit we need. Likewise, we are the residents of DJ. If we see something that the council was not doing right, it's our right to say no, to tell them no. Okay? So, I think my time, still got 100 minutes, no more. I'm boring your time. Still got 3 minutes, okay. So I take my time. So, Rantayan Mesra, I checked. It's 100% subsidiary of MDI. MDI got no business to take a single cent from the council. I don't need to repeat that, they got no rights. By right, the state must be helping the councils which are poor. That's what we do when we were at the council, We expect the rich councils to help the poor councils. Never an occasion that the state take money away from the councils. The state's supposed to help the councils. Okay. So in this case, I ask you to give the big hands to all the 4 members of parliament for speaking out. You know who are the 4 members of parliament? You know them? William Leong from Selayang. Alif from Shah and Lee Chen Chong from MPBJ, and Wong Chen from Petaling Jaya. Please give them a big hand. Because they are saying something right about the government they're supposed to represent. You know, the state government in Selangor is actually Pakatan Harapan. Correct. And all the 4 MPs, all of them were Pakatan Harapan. Alif is from Amanah, the other 3 from PKR. Yeah. Why no DAP? Why? I'm a former DAP. I feel very sad and upset about this. How come no MP from DAP to say no? Why? You mean they are supportive? I don't think so. But why are they keep quiet? And also the Agums. I give a big hand to Rajiv who comes to come here. What happened to the DAP Agums? What happened? Cannot. You know, you're not supposed to do that. Because we support the PR government and then PH government because they are supposed to fight corruption. They are supposed to fight privatization. They are supposed to uphold CAT and all that. Am I right? So we have to continue with that. You guys must have forgotten about your principles and values, but we have not. We have to make sure you guys up there, elected by us, do the right thing. So I don't want the part of the connection that goes to the unnecessary CCTV. I'm sure you also don't want. Okay? We expect all the money that we can get from the parking will go back to the respective councils to do a good job. And also, I want to tell you this, give a big hands to MPK, the council from Klang. Anybody from Klang? Because they have rejected the idea from the state, and the state dare not insist on SIP. Give a big hands to MPK. Okay? And last, when I took over the Vedaras took over the government in 2008, we were stuck with 2 companies. Okay? This is minute, no more. Okay? Okay, 1 minute to finish it. There are 2 private companies called Global and Swasta Effective, already signed long term. So I try to improve the system, cannot. I try to reject the system, also cannot, because already signed long term and then expire. Now that they are expired, forget about privatization. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
The decision maker is sitting up there. Until we call all their lies, they're going to continue telling us more lies. So I have a suggestion, and it needs involvement of all of you all. Residents, civic societies, political parties, NGOs. If you recall, in 2010, Selangor enacted the Freedom of Information Act, which is still applicable in state of Selangor and in Penang, 2 states. Why can't we make an FOI request for details of the RFP? Number 1, who are the 3 shortlisted companies? They say there were 3 shortlisted companies. Besides Cellmax, who are the other 2 companies? We do not know. All this information can be obtained through FOI. Whether they will give it to you is another issue altogether. But we must make an effort. Right? So I hope some of you can get together. I want to remain neutral. Because I'm a journalist, I write on these things. I do not directly get involved in your activities, so that then I'll be branded as a NGO lang. I don't want that. Okay? So can I appeal to some of you? This is the first step. From there we will know the details. How much of life they have told us. Okay? Why haven't, the next question I want to ask is, why haven't the councillors got back to us? I have been living in PJ since 1996. The only time I get to meet a councillor, not my councillor, is when I go and object to a development nearby. Other than that, I don't know who my councillor is. Are they making efforts to have a town hall meeting like this? Any councillor had a town hall meeting with your respective Kawasans?
All the time.
Thank you.
All the time.
Which Kawasan is that?
June 11, Section 11.
Section 11?
12 and
13. Okay. I've not had one in SS5 at Petaling Jaya. For the past, I don't know, 15, 20 years.
move to Bukit Kasih.
Okay. Okay, that's it. This is the point. Why do we have to get these people spend their Sunday afternoon organizing this? It's your councillor's duty to call you and inform you this proposal. What have you got to say? Isn't that lacking? Isn't that the basis of local government?
Yes.
Consultation process. LA21, PJ was one of the first to adopt LA21 way back in 2004, I think. Yeah? So it's called Local Agenda 21. And they all went to Brazil to sign the agreement and everything else. Now can come in Plaza again. Alright? I remember that. So why can't we demand of our councillors to speak to us? Now each one of us writing an email to our councillor and saying, what's happening to the parking? Why aren't you speaking to us? You should question them. You agree? Collect their replies. And when they come around the next time, show them. Some of them will be promoted to become adult, will come to your own. This time show the letter. You don't even acknowledge my letter, you want to come to vote. Chase them away. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the first step. We've got to get the truth out. Not that I don't want to do it. I can't do it. Because I still maintain myself as a neutral person. I'm not a card-carrying member of any organization except the Royal Slam Club, which I joined to play cricket 40 years ago. So I'm still a member. And then I'm not a member. So I leave it to you all to think about this. Thank you very much. Now I can answer all your questions. Thank you.
Look, so one first thing here is that is this a proposal by the state government or already a decision has been made? Number one decision. Now the other thing here is that from what I hear that this is illegal. The state has exceeded its powers.
I think before we like this, can I clarify this? Because it will affect all future buildings.
Can I continue? I've got another question, please. Right, the other thing here is that if the state has made such a decision which is actually beyond its powers, don't the state government have legal advisors advising them that this is beyond their powers? I just want to seek clarification because I'm quite naive on all these things here. So maybe somebody can enlighten us on this.
I want to start off by saying that I personally am not supportive of giving 60% of the parking collection to a privatized company, as you have seen and read and heard about. Alright, so I want to put that on the record. I want to make that clear to everyone where I stand, and then let's move into answer some of your questions. I just want to clarify this, just so that we get on the record, because we should criticize things which are not right, but at the same time we should also understand we should understand what's happening properly. Alright, and because many of the speakers have said that it is not the jurisdiction of the state, I just also want to confirm with you that yes, it is the jurisdiction of the council to handle the parking matters. Oh, Afif is here. Want to join me? Come lah. Okay. The state government, under Section 9 of the Local Government Act, has the power to give directive to the local councils. Now, this should be used wisely. It should not be used for wrong things, bad things, unwise things. But that provision exists in Section 9 of the Local Government Act. Local councils receive that instruction under Section 9, and then local governments then decide what to do about it. The Local Government Act doesn't give the power to say no per se, but in the case of PJ, working with the PJ councillors, in fact, I had discussions with many of the excos before the story broke, before Nadi's story broke, and and that got the blessing of some of the exco members for the PJ councillors to refer back to state, to appeal back to state, not to force PJ to do this or not to force this system through. But to answer your question, it is Section 9 of the Local Government Act. It is not just this, it is a whole list of things that from time to time the state government will direct the local council, not just in Selangor but in any other state. Alright? So, as to the FOI, that's brilliant. That's something we should do. It is there. Hundreds of people have used the FOI for various reasons. And if anyone wants to use it, they should use it. Alright? So, actually, if there are other questions, I'd be also happy to answer, but I think it was important for me to make that correction for the misconception. Yeah? Clang. As for the misconception on that fact on Clang, just want to let you know, if you read the explanations given, I'm not here to defend them, but phase 1 is the 4 local councils, Layam, Subang, Shah Alam, and BJ. Clang is in phase 2. So Clang didn't reject it. They haven't gone to Clang yet. But the decision by the state...
Clang already rejected it.
Okay lah, you say lah.
Yes, what I say.
Okay. Okay lah, you say lah. What did I say? Never lah. You use FOI and find out lah whether Clang rejected it or not.
Rejected it.
Okay. Right. Alright.
Given the additional backing to the idea. So I was told that there are 2 councillors here, PJ and PJ councillors. Can we just get confirmation whether they are aware of this, and if they are, can you explain what led to this decision? I'm signed by with the millennial, by the way.
So the article that the Star wrote, actually the mayor was there when he commented on it, and we were there. It was at an event that we were at this morning, and it's true. That's what MPPJ has been discussing from day 1 that the proposal came in till today. If we are going to lose revenue because of this deal, it is not going to be supported by us. But if they can match the revenue that we are making today, we can discuss. Like YBD said, it's a live issue, it's well and alive, and how we negotiate out of this is...
And I think if you don't just read the title, if you read the article in full, the mayor said that while there were some conditions that we agreed on, there were many more that were not clarified. And we have had 3 engagements so far. Nothing has been agreed upon, nothing concrete yet. So we have been pushing back, and even if you saw Selangor yesterday, MD has said that PJ is the one who has pushed back. And if you listen to BFM where MD's press secretary JJ Dennis took an interview, they are open, according to his words, they are open to PJ withdrawing. So for us as councillors, we will continue to do our responsibility. As long as it does not favour PJ, I think we are prepared to say no to it, as we have been.
But like Wailun said, there are many questions. Yes, Dr. Afif, come, what's your question? I also want you to say something. What do you think about this?
Thank you. I'm Dr. Afif, the State Assemblyman for Taman Medan, who happen to be in Petaling Jaya. Because sometimes some people forget that Taman Medan is in PJ. Just attendee this program. I'm not part of them.
We are also not come.
So my question is simple. I mean, Ronnie is here. He should be able to enlighten us on this. Is this an exercise of a new concession, or is this an exercise of just changing the concession? Because the privatization of parking collection is not the first time in Selangor. This has been conducted before. And I know the tenure sheet for the previous concession has finished. So this is just a mere renegotiation and reappointment of a new company to continue with the concession. I mean, you share with us whether is it true or not. Because if I'm not mistaken, it has been conducted in most of the local councils. I'm not sure about PJ. I think so. It is under a concession, right?
It's not.
It's not. Okay. Because my experience in Shah Alam, baru 4-5 minit orang dah datang saman. Because from what I gather is that the penguasa, the enforcement officers who is paid by the company, the concessionaire, they have a KPI to achieve, and they'll get commission out of the number of fines that they'll be able to collect. And somehow it has shown that
managed to bring in quite a number of collection revenue, and somehow that has been the argument that more return will be given to the local council. That's what's the argument now. Second, my question is, I mean, I'm from the opposition, you guys are from the government, you guys are from the same party, the ESCO who's in charge of this also is from the same party as Rajiv. Has this not been discussed at policy matters in your party or in your coalition in order before you introduce this to the public, especially the people of PJ or Shah Alam or Selangorians? Because it shows there's a disconnect between the party, the policy makers, the local councils, because you guys are here just defending the mayor, saying that it's a whatever lah you cakap tadi kan, but it sounded ridiculous to us. You guys are from the same party, you should be governing the same. I mean, if you decided at state level, that should be consulted with you guys. Where is the WhatsApp group to discuss this? Where is the WhatsApp group to discuss this? I mean, that's not the way how federal behave affected how Selangor behave. I think you guys as a political party, as a political people, Ronnie, you are a politician, same party, you should be able to direct your policy correctly for Selangor. You just say, yes, we want to do concession, we want to privatize the parking. Then let the people decide in the next election whether they want to accept this or not. It's as easy as that. There's no point saying that, oh, here we don't agree. Your state ESCO is from the AP and also supporting and promoting this idea of privatization. So please decide.
And I understand in DAP there is a law, not a rule inside them, that if any of the members speak against the rules, the party leadership views, they can get disciplined. Am I right, Ronnie? How can you do a thing like that? Right? Let the people speak. You are representing the people. You are not representing your party.
Excuse me. Hello. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm a journalist. I'm here as a resident. But what happened behind the political thing is beyond me. I'm not willing to discuss it. Because you will find the answer privately from Rajiv or somebody else who is a practicing politician. For me, I just had to ask a question to these two young councillors. I'm so happy seeing your faces. If there were only 3 engagements, how come we, the residents, do not know about it? You said there were 3 engagements. Not even one engagement you are told about it. You said there were 3 engagements on this matter. So why can't the residents be told about these engagements? Now, since in the public forum you said it, please tell us what happened at the 3 engagements. Thank you. Amin?
Yeah. To Dr. Afif. Sorry, I believe there's no connection now. When this guy make this decision, these guys never go back to the party level for discussions. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I know. By right, it should be consulted in the party level as well. Because these are very big issues. These are about CAT. This is about privatization. This is about the welfare of the people. This is about the rights and powers of this government and that government. By right, all the so-called representatives of respective party, they must report to their own party for such policy matter. But I think that one not happening these days. By the way, for those who still do not know, I am no more a DAB member for 2 years already. I am independent. Okay? You call me a politician, maybe, but I'm non-partisan. So I can speak freely. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back to you just again. These, for me, I think what we are concerned about as PJ citizens, all right, that we do not want to have extra costs, okay, whether it's in rates or anything else, that because of the rising cost of living, okay, resulting from any of these things. Okay, please. Questions, yeah, please?
Understand how the MBPJ come to the conclusion that in the event that their collection is not affected, right? That it is therefore okay to approve the project. Because let's think about it, right? Based on publicly generated information from the newspaper, which may or may not be accurate, from what I understand, there's a collection of 18 million. There's a cost to collect that 18 million is 5 million. So MBBJ net 13 million. Okay? Currently. Now, they say they want to move from 30% to 60% collection rate. Meaning you double the collections. So, if they used to collect 18 million, you double it now, they should be collecting 36 million, right? After this whole privatization thing comes about. What does MBBJ get? 40%. That means MBBJ gets 14 million. So they move from 13 million to 14 million. We pay 18 million to 36 million. How is that beneficial to the residents of PJ? And how can MBBJ approve such a thing? It is not. This is, okay, we want to take it on a scientific basis. These are the rationale we should be asking these questions. Comes back to the question earlier, you have privatization to improve your rate of recovery. But this does not improve your rate of recovery. Last time, your rate of recovery, you got what? 13 million out of 18 million collection, right? 13 out of 18. Got 72%.
How many?
72%. Right? Now you get 40. After that, how is privatization improving the rate of collection? It is not. Not for the wider people of PJ. So, really, let's think about this. And then, if the cost is 200 million spread across 4 majlis, so in other words, the cost to PJ is what? 50 million, let's assume it's the same, right? $50 million of money spent to put up cameras for PJ. Really? Is it necessary? Is that the best use of money, of the people's money? Because they pay for it, they pay for it through the increased collection, right? And we have to ask this question. So at the end of the day, if it is not improving the rate of return, then no wonder our economy is going down.
Thank you.
Our money is getting worth less and less.
You were part of the state ESCO, in charge of local government before, right? World. Is this exercise just a change of concessionaire or an expansion of the coverage? Because this is not the first time, this is not. So my question is that this is not the first time this such policy be practiced in Selangor. So I mean, our council said PJ tak pernah buat benda ni. So now I want to know whether state government of Selangor now, I mean you can't answer for now, but has this concession exercise conducted before? And now why suddenly there's a change of a new company to come in? Rantaian Emas, I think.
That's
So I just want to know, is this an expansion of the concession?
Swasta effective was forced to be accepted by the councils during the Barisan National time. And when we took over, I was trying my very best to talk to a lot of legal advisors and all that. We cannot terminate that contract because otherwise we have to pay. The new government will pay, the PR will pay a lot. So we gave up on that. So what we could do, we could do some bits and pieces, try to improve the system, come up with new apps and things like that. That's all. So this time, it was not a continuation of the concession. Both the companies all gone, no more. So no more continuation. So this actually given the councils an opportunity to start anew. But the council, Wait.
Johan, that's not true.
Okay? Never mind, you can answer. You can say I'm not true later. Okay? So when these two expired, okay, now the state use their power or misuse their power to try to get the councils to accept their decision. Your exco didn't bluff you. They have already made the decision in some of the so-called MMKN exco meetings. They already made the decision. Somebody just now asked, was it just a proposal? No, it was already a decision. Okay? This is the opportunity for the councils to take back the power to take charge of the parking business. The state got no business in this business. It doesn't mean that during Bharatan national time it was done, it was wrongly, and then the new government got to continue with something wrong. Am I right?
Thank you, Ronnie.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay?
There are a few councils that took back the operations from Godel a few years ago. MBPJ is one of them. And so MBPJ going to privatization is going back to an era of privatization when it has been run by MBPJ officers for the last few years. But there are many other councils, I think 8 of them, but this one I will tell you up front. When I don't know facts, I will just tell you I don't know the facts. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I know Shalam and Selayang are being run by Swasta Effective today. That's what Dr. Afif is trying to point out to everyone. So it is a changing of one concessionaire to another. When I talk to my colleagues in Selayang, the councils in Selayang, for them they say the contract-wise, like same from the previous to now. That's why in Selayang all the residents they make noise. But for me personally, like I said in the beginning, so we want to come back to the crux of it. Now, should PJ do this better, or should we gain efficiencies by privatizing? I can tell you, a lot of your services are already privatized. We don't do things in-house anymore. We don't repair roads in-house. We don't repair drains in-house. We don't collect rubbish in-house. Once upon a time, your government used to have the trucks and the workers and the machinery, and now they don't. Most of your services, most of your IT services are also outsourced. That is how the world has progressed till today, whether rightfully or wrongfully credited to Margaret Thatcher, but that's how the world has progressed and that's where we are. But privatization must be in the benefit of the people, the council, and the government agency that is running it. So in this case, if, in fact you should be on the panelists, because other than Nadis, I think you are the one talking the most sense. Next. I think Nadis, I'm sorry lah, but you spill a lot of misinformation.
There were people say don't be confrontational, don't and all that, and you start.
Okay, that's fine. I apologize for being confrontational to Ronnie. But let's move back to this. So I'll stand by my view that I don't think this should be privatized. There is something that most people will probably have not realized before today or before this whole fiasco came up, that collection rate is around 30%. The parking collection rate is around 30%. So should this go higher? Should enforcement be issuing out more summonses? Should your local council ensure a higher collection rate of parking? Do you think the parking is actually vacant? I think if you look around, it's probably not vacant. But I also think that in the case of PJ, you have already hit your max efficiency. I think it's going to be very hard. And I think that's why the company did not agree to the revenue guarantee. See, sometimes you have to also seal up a bit with the company. Alright? The company did not agree to the revenue guarantee because I think they also know it's not easy to squeeze out more parking collection. It's not, sometimes you think operations are very easy. Just say the word and all the workers will do exactly as you wish and the result will come. Anyone who has run companies or run teams will know that it's not as easy as that. And that's the challenge. So I think, I'm not sure where we're going with this one. But if you're talking about whether we should privatize or not, then we can stick to that. But if you want to, I'm not sure. That's why I refrain from dealing with all the political attacks. But should I respond to some? Out of respect for Johan, I won't respond to the political attacks. But I think I've said what I've said on that.
Thank you, Rajiv. today's forum is as PJ residents, okay? I don't frankly care on anybody's political line or anything else there, right? So please refrain from going into the political things, the history and everything else. The question is pretty simple, okay? Will this benefit us as residents, yes or no? And if no, how can we make sure that something like that does? So thank you very much for your numbers there, quite very nicely put. Now, if there are any other questions which are not political.
For your benefit, parking management for MPS, Kajang Municipal Council, LPJJ, Rupang Municipal Council, and Kuala Selangor Council were managed by sponsor elective, a company whose chairman is Tuku Sulaiman, the son of the late Sultan of Selangor. Thank you.
PJ, but I've been residing in Subang for the past 10 years. So my question is basically, one of the things that today we speak about here is about privatization and, losing up the powers of the local governments, right? In the age of AI that we are living in today and moving on forward, a lot of smart city concepts, safe city concepts has been implemented worldwide. I personally involved in some deployments of the smart city outside this country, right? So what I'm trying to say here, the question that's centering is about privatization or the local council managing it, right? Is the question is throwing back is trying to put out here is actually, are we ready for it? Are our own local government, our local council teams purely ready for that technology, embracing it, implementing it, and enforcing it past that police connection, right? I understand the concerns of most of residents here is about the money going out to somewhere else and why it's not coming back here. But instead to do that, what is the countermeasure on addressing to that issue that the local council team that is specialized in doing that and able to do that on themselves? So that is the question: are we ready?
Who would you like to ask that? Would you like that to put that person while you're at it?
Anyone. It's general.
Well, I think your question was the people, right? The people also ready for that. Now, if the enforcement officer rides a motorbike, checks the car one by one, and issues the summons for those people who don't pay, the efficiency rate that you get out of it is the 30%. Should you deploy even more enforcement officers on motorbikes to go around to increase the compliance rate from 30 to 40%, maybe even 50%? That's something I welcome all of you to chip in the answer to. I think if you want to increase the efficiency one day, it is AI that you need to come in to regulate, and you need to use technology to ensure that people pay for the parking. How many of you pay for parking? All the time? Yes. All right. So all of you pay, most of you here raise your hands. Most of you pay parking all the time. Most of you probably are happy that to learn today that while you pay parking most of the time, other people don't pay parking a lot of the time. And that's why we are in a situation where 30% compliance rate. So now, how do we increase 30% to 50%? Do we deploy more enforcement officers on motorbikes?
The question was whether the council ready to do this privatization itself. That was the question, this answer.
Yeah, and that's
around all that.
Okay. I accept it. I also.
Sorry, let me read correct.
Read correct.
Is the local council technologically ready to do this? Then if you are ready, you don't need to ready for privatization.
You see, I dare say that they are ready. They were not going to develop the software themselves. This is not the era. I mean, you are one of the companies that develop and deploy overseas. Likewise, different companies will be developing different solutions, and you need to choose the best. You need to choose the best based on performance of the software, based on the price of the software. If you ask me, is the government ready to hire companies? Then yes, the government is ready. I don't think that part is difficult. Is the government ready to build the software? No. You don't think the government should hire?
It all boils down to having the right people as councillors.
Yeah.
Right? You appoint. I got nothing against professions. Okay. I've come across a lot of people who are not fit to be there. But if a guy basically does not, understand IT and sits on the council to make the decision. What can people like him do? This comes down to electing the right people, not appointing the wrong people. So we go back to local council elections. There we have a chance to elect the correct person to be there. Thank you.
Topic for another day, but I want to put on record, I 100% support local government elections. If you have local government elections today, then I don't need to stand here and answer questions. They can answer the questions themselves because you elected them.
All right, thank you. It's coming to 4:15 right now, so we're going to start wrapping up. You have another question?
In relation to what was said earlier about, well, do they have the capacity to do the collection? And maybe they don't, and they need to invest in technology. But what this new arrangement is asking of us is to spend 50 million ringgit of residents' money to get 1 million more for MBPJ.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions brought up on the financial
We have
side.
to really think about this.
Yes.
If we're looking at it from a financial point of view, it just doesn't make sense.
Coming back to money and cents, because this is where it's going to hit our pockets. Rajiv just now I said something about collection guarantee. Okay, if you look at the facts that have been reported in the papers, okay, what we can learn from it is from the current 30%, the company has said that it will go up to 60%. So, if let's say, for example, okay, the current agreement, okay, is that when it goes up to 60% collection, 50% goes to the private company, 10% to MBI, and 40% to the local council. Now, from 30% after this agreement, okay, or rather this concession is approved, MPPJ's share comes down to 24%. Okay, due to the provisioning of 40% now. Now, I'd like to ask, what is the guarantee, okay, that this concession can collect the 60% as they have estimated? Okay, so if they are not able to guarantee that to the 60%, okay, we can see that MPPS collection has fallen again. Not only that, okay, the collection itself. Right now, I agree with the gentleman just now. Okay, we need to employ AI in our collection of our parking charges. Okay, I'm sure that they are able to. I spoke to one judge before. I've asked him whether they will employ a closed parking system for all the parking lots that is under this concession. Okay, YB Rajiv told me no. Okay, but if they were to increase this estimated collection to 60%, they will have to employ some sort of closed parking system. That means that the moment you enter a certain area, your vehicle will be tracked for how long you will be in the area. So I'd like to come back to the question to YB Rajiv. Okay, what happens if they are not able to collect as estimated the 60%? Thank you very much.
I'm not in the position to answer because I'm not negotiating with them. I don't support this. And to me, it doesn't even arise whether they can collect or don't collect because MPPJ is not agreed and appointed them. So, if you're talking about the hypothetical that they have been appointed, there is no guarantees clause, which is what the mayor was trying to point out. That from the mayor's point of view, without such a guarantee clause of the income being met, then no deal to sign. They are not also agreeing to sign. If not, it would have been signed and done. So it's not going to happen. I don't foresee such a guarantee scheme coming. If there's no guarantee scheme and the hypothetical that they are appointed, then there's no guarantee lah. But let's go back to this lah. The reason why you know about this, the reason why we are here today, the reason why MB made that press conference, which I'm sure all of you all have watched, is because your PJ councillors didn't say yes to this. And I'm glad they didn't. I was with them. We have been throughout the deliberations and the back and forth. And I think that's where the actual scenario stands. Your PJ councillors did not say yes to this.
Well, thank you very much for that information. So, thank you, YB, Rajiv, and thank you, councillors, for that. Let's reiterate, this is the first step today on this thing here. We appreciate very much the engagement of everybody to take care of your interests, all of our collective interests as PJ residents. I love the question from the gentleman over there on the mathematics of it, and so lots to think about. I think lots of positive things have come out today, okay, especially the suggestion on the Freedom of Information Act. We will look into that, and the time is actually it's quite late right now, and I can see people are leaving. So I would like to thank all of you, our panelists today, all right, Ronnie Liu, Nadez Warren, and the two who have already left, and everybody who's come along here today. So why don't we end it right now, okay? There's some food and drink there a little bit, I think, and let's have a mingle and we can just discuss amongst each other. Discuss, not argue. All right, so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and hope you have a really good day today.